Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to discuss one of the concept of IELTS reading, and it is also a very important type of questions, so which is called as true, false or not given. So NG here refers to not given. Okay, so same way sometimes they will ask questions like true, false, not given, and sometimes they will ask us to identify whether the statement is yes, no or not given. So the difference, so when they are asking true, false, not given is, so when they are talking about facts, okay, and yes, no, not given type of questions are asked when they are talking about opinions, okay. So for example, so in this type of question, so you can see here, so there are three questions and short passage, okay. So there are three questions, I mean statements, actually not exactly the questions, statements. So we have to identify these statements as true or false or not given in the passage. Now how to deal with it? Correct. Yes. So now the condition for true is here. Okay. So true or yes, condition is similar. Okay, so like I said, so true, false, not given is asked when they're talking about facts, and yes, no, not given is asked so when they're talking about opinions. But how to identify the answers? So we have to follow certain conditions, correct? So those conditions are similar to true and yes. Okay, so when can we call a statement is true or yes? So if the given information, so that is the information in the statement, matches to the information in the passage, okay, so then we can call it as true or yes. So it should match to the information in the passage. Now you should not just look for the exact sentence, okay, so you should also match with the meaning of that sentence, and even if the meaning is present, so then you can call it as true or yes. So that's for the first one. So next is, when can I call a statement as false or no? So if the given information or if the given statement is opposite to the information, in the passage. So suppose if the statement does not match, so I cannot directly call it as no or false. I have to check whether the statement is opposite to the information given in the passage. So now when I call it as opposite or contradictory, so there can be both type of contradictions. Okay, so direct contradictions and indirect contradictions. So most of the times you will have to focus more on indirect contradictions, because direct contradictions are very simple. So they will directly tell something is opposite. But indirectly, for example, might be there is a statement, read something like Dubai is the most beautiful city, and if in the passage, so if there is something like Dubai is not the beautiful city, so then that is directly said it is opposite, correct. So might be if they say, so Paris is more beautiful than Dubai, so that is indirectly they are saying Paris is beautiful but not Dubai, correct. So that is indirect. This is just a simple example, so you have to focus on indirect contradictions as well. So when can I call it as false or no? If the information is opposite. And when can I call it as not given? If the information is not found in the passage. So then I can write my answer as not given. Okay, now sometimes what happens is some information, some related information will be present, and when we check the answers, the answer will be not given. Why is it so? Because, so for not given there are two conditions. The first condition is if the information is not found in the passage. Okay, so then you will be writing your answer as not given. And the other condition is, so you have to check when a statement is given, first you need to check whether it is matching or not. If it is matching, you write your answer as true or yes, correct. If it is not matching, so you have to check whether it is opposite or not. So if it is opposite, write no or false. Okay. If both these conditions do not satisfy, it is neither matching nor opposite, so then your answer has to be not given. Okay, so checking for the other two conditions, like where you are checking whether it is true or false, and then if it doesn't satisfy both those conditions, you will be writing it as not given. Okay, and sometimes what happens, they will ask you to write short forms. Okay, so like if it answer is true, write capital T. If your answer is false, write capital F. And if your answer is not given, write NG. Only if they ask you to write short forms, make sure you write short forms. And suppose if they ask you the like answers like true, false, not given, and might be by mistake you are writing, instead of true, might be you are writing answer as yes. so then that will be wrong. Okay, so like I had some students like who made these mistakes in the final examination, okay, and they lost the marks. So make sure you don't repeat this mistake. Okay, so make sure what is asked, whether it is true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. Okay, so now let's solve this exercise. So we have three questions here. Answers will go in order. Okay, so you have to follow the order. So Marie Curie's husband was a joint winner of both Mary's Nobel Prizes, they have said. Okay, so Marie Curie's husband was a joint winner of both Mary's Nobel Prizes. Okay, so the question is related to Marie Curie's husband here. So they're asking, he was a joint winner of both Mary's Nobel Prizes. So let's see, where is it? Okay, they're talking about something like a Nobel Prize here. Okay, so I think yes, so Nobel Prize here. So we'll read this in details, this portion in details. So what they've said, she is a famous, yeah, they're talking about Marie Curie, born in Poland in 1867. She is famous for her work on radioactivity and was twice the winner of Nobel Prize. Who was the twice the winner? Marie Curie was twice winner. The question is related to Marie Curie's husband, correct? So she was twice the winner of Nobel Prize. With her husband Pierre Curie and Henry Becquerel, she was awarded in 1903 Nobel Prize for Physics. Okay, in this case her husband was also part and was the sole winner. What is sole winner? She was winner alone, okay, of 1911 Nobel Prize for Chemistry. Okay, so for physics she won it with her husband and some other person like Henry Becquerel, but for chemistry she won it alone. So that means Marie Curie's husband was not a joint winner of both Mary's Nobel Prizes, correct? So this is directly opposite. So what do I have to write my answer as? So I have to write my answer as false. Okay. Next question. So Mary became interested in science when she was a child. Okay, Mary became interested in science when she was a child. Where they're talking about, okay, from childhood, something here. Let's see here. From childhood, Mary was remarkable for her prodigious memory and at the age of 16 won a gold medal on completion of her secondary education. Because her father lost his saving through bad investment, she then had to take work as a teacher. Okay, so everything is spoken about the childhood in this case itself. Okay, so and from her earning she was able to finance, yeah, so this is all when she had grew up. Okay, from here, so only two lines we have, that is only one sentence related to her childhood. And did they mention anywhere like she was interested in science when she was child? From childhood Mary was remarkable for a prodigious memory. She had a good memory. Okay, at the age of 16 she won gold medal on completion of her secondary education. Okay, but they never mentioned anything about science, correct? So our answer is not given. And the last question. So Mary was able to attend the Sorbonne because of her sister's financial contribution. Mary was able to attend the Sorbonne because of her sister's financial contribution. Okay, let's see. Okay, finance and something like that. Her sister, Bronia. Okay, everything is here, I guess. From her earning, she was able to finance her sister Bronia's medical study in Paris. Okay, this is Mary is helping her sister on the understanding that Bronia would in turn later help her to get an education. Okay, so what is the question? Mary was able to attend Sorbonne because of her sister's financial contribution. Her sister should have helped Mary, correct? But in this statement they are telling from her earnings she was able to finance her sister's, so that is opposite. But here still on the understanding that Bronia would in turn later help her to get an education. There was an understanding. Once Bronia, her sister, finishes her education, so she should help Mary to get her education. So what happened later? In 1891, this promise was fulfilled and Mary went to Paris and began to study at Sorbonne. See here. So they had an understanding that Bronia should help her to get education later, correct? So in 1891, this promise was fulfilled, they said, and Mary went to Paris and began to study at her education. So that means it is matching. So her sister helped her later to get her education. So the answer is true here. Okay, so now the thing here is, so might be like we will read one sentence and we will conclude that as our answer. Suppose if we had read only this much, okay, only this much, so we would have definitely said our answer was false for the last question, third one, correct? So since we read additional line, okay, so we came to know that the answer is true. So what we have to do is, like, when we read a single sentence, we should not conclude or jump into conclusions that true is answer or false is answer or not given. Okay, so read additional one or two sentences. Okay, so sometimes your answer will also be hidden in your next sentences. Got it? So this is how we deal with the true false not given type of question. So the important key for true false not given is trying to keep it very simple. Okay, so do not overthink. Okay, so like we say, like, first answers are always best answers. Okay, change your answers only if you are 100% sure that it is wrong. Okay, suppose if you have confusions in the answers, so make sure whatever you had written in the first attempt, so that you keep it as your final answer. Okay, so try to keep the things very simple in true false not given or yes no not given type of questions. Okay, I hope everything is clear with true false not given type of questions. So in the next video, so we'll learn few more concepts of IELTS reading. So until that, keep practicing and keep learning and stay connected to this channel.